Hello and welcome back to the Hype Bulletin, hosted by yours truly, Ralph Mentor. Again, if you guys are listening or watching on the YouTube side, please press on that subscribe button, like, and drop a comment to help support the podcast. And if you guys are listening on the podcast platform side, Apple, Overcast, Spotify, and all, leave us a rating. Add us to your library for any past, present, and future episodes and all too as well. Yes, it is October 11th, and I'm recording close to 6 p.m. on October 11th. What is this? October 2nd, the Red Sox got eliminated by the Yankees. This is last Thursday, if I remember correct. It's last Thursday? Yeah, the date's right there on the screen and all. But yeah, last Thursday, so a week or so after me recording, after the Sox got eliminated by the New York Yankees in 3 games in the wild card series and all too as well. Now, this whole episode is not going to be about the Red Sox. I'm going to drop my quarterly review of the NFL season. We're 5 weeks in, and we can look at my predictions and what I made to start the season, at least on where things are sitting per division and all. But since I've been covering the Red Sox on the podcast, at least, and it's like I've been, like a true media guy and all. But since I was covering the Red Sox on the podcast, I would think I would finish off the season with a little, soliloquy or a little spiel on how the Red Sox season ended and all too as well. It was terrible. It was very disappointing. But shouldn't it be surprising and all too as well? One thing that hurt the Red Sox in that 3-game series against the Yankees was their defense. Their defense really blew it for them and all too as well. Jarren Duran's dropped catch or ball, whatever you want to call it, pause. I think it was in the 7th inning, if not in the 6th inning, with Slayton at the mound, I believe. Yes, this is last week, so bear with me. This is last Wednesday because this was game 2. But a big drop there. I think the Sox had the lead. I think it was 3-2 or 2-1. And 2 outs left in the inning. Pop fly to left field on Jarren Duran. Inexplicably, if that's coming out right, dropped the ball. And the Yankees were able to score a run there. I think Story, the next inning after, hit a home run. There we go. It was a tied game, I believe. Yankees took the lead. Story hit a home run, made it 3-3 and all. There were some other things too. It made it 3-3, I should say. And then we get into the 8th inning and all. Whitlock is stacking up the pitches and all. Jazz Chisholm was able to get on base, and Austin Wells was able to knock him in. A double to the right. A double to right field, but it hit one of the foul line stands, I should say, at least. And unfortunately, it jetted out to a different direction or angle, and it enabled Jazz Chisholm to score from first, at least too as well. So that's how that's how the Red Sox lost game 2, at least 4-3 game. Very competitive game, but unfortunately, defense really it broke down in that game, and it got worse in game 3 and all too as well. You had Connolly early on the mound, pitched a great first 3 innings for them, but we get into the 4th inning. I think he allowed the single. Then there's just bad defense all over there. Nathaniel Lowe, I think, had a bad play towards the end of that inning. Romy Gonzalez seemed like he was going to catch up to a slow grounder headed to right field, and all was unable to get it and all. And I feel like Trevor Story had a bad throw too as well. So the defense really shook up there in that 4th inning, and the Red Sox ended up losing 4-0. But all those 4 runs were scored in that 4th inning for the Yankees, at least. Connolly early, I feel like he did a great job, especially in the first 3 innings and all, and made his pitches. But again, the defense didn't show up and all. And then you can look at the scores too if you want to throw another thing why the Sox didn't fare too well against the Yankees in that wild card series. No offense. Plenty of time. As Sox fans, we saw towards the end of the season that these guys cannot knock in runners in scoring position and all, and that came into fruition again in the Yankee series and all too as well. That I say they didn't have much control of, because I do admit not having Roman Anthony, Rafael Devers keeps getting mentioned, but who can blame you to mention Rafael Devers when you see Vlad Guerrero do what he did against the Yankees in the next round of the divisional series, which healed me a little bit more. I'm not saying it's the reason why I'm dropping an episode now, but it did help towards me going toward getting into this episode, talking about the Red Sox and their disappointing ending in the playoffs, at least. But again, the offense, you can't really blame. Injuries are really what knocked them out there. Roman Anthony, I feel like, is the big bat that you're missing. You're seeing, again, I'll bring up Vaglero again. I feel like you see, even though the Jays offense is pretty damn good, but you can just see the effect that he has when you have a guy that's that either you have to intentionally walk or pitch carefully to. And even if he does get a hit in those type of scenarios and all, it feeds the top of the lineup before him and it feeds the lineup behind him at least and all. And I feel like that's what the Sox were missing. He didn't have anybody scary in the lineup at least and all. The Yankees, even though with Judge struggles to his slugging side of his playoffs this year at least, because he obviously was hitting a pretty damn good batting average at least. It's just the home runs and the doubles. People are asking for Aaron Judge at least. But still, the Yankees at the end still have somebody in the middle of their lineup to be scared of at least. Scariest person that the Red Sox had would probably be Alex Bregman because of his history at least. Maybe you can argue Trevor Story, but I feel like those lines are pretty close at least. So again, their offense didn't really show out and all. Their pitching showed out though. Can't really knock the pitching and all too as well. Even Whitlock giving those runs in the 8th inning at least. The man pitched the 7th inning before and all. So that was his second inning in, and he just wasn't able to finish it off and all too as well. Justin Slayton looked good. I think in game 2 when he pitched. I think he pitched in game 3 too as well. I got no complaints about. I thought the bullpen was going to be a struggle for us, and Crochet pitched an amazing game 1, was able to go 8 in a third, if not 8 and 2/3. So Chapman was able to get the last out or two in the 8th. Well, yeah, it was 8 and 2/3, and Chapman got the last out in the 8th and was able to come in and gave us some stress in the 9th inning, but was able to get out of it with no runs given up at least and all too as well. But yeah, you can't complain about the pitching though. Guess Bayo you can complain about, but you understand why Cora took him out in a scenario where they were in and all too as well. And look how the game ended up going, especially into the 7th and 8th inning and all. You had the lead, you had a chance to win at least and all too as well. So not lead, but let me say tie at least and all too. I don't remember if they had the lead and Jarren Duran dropped the ball at least and all too as well. But that's how the Red Sox season ended. And obviously we're gonna ask what do you want the Red Sox to do in the offseason? I think it's pretty clear, pretty freaking obvious that Joe Ryan better be a member of the Boston Red Sox and all too as well. The man, last time I checked, he's got 2 years left on this contract with his I think original contract with the Twins and all, where he's barely making $5 million a year and all too as well. So that's a scenario where the Sox can pick him up in winter meetings and give him an extension similar to Fair Crochet last season at least, or last off season into the season at least. And also that's what I kind of expect. I think it's pretty obvious they need a big bat, like a home run bat outside of Roman Anthony and all too as well. And it seems like first base is the obvious place where you can find that. Pete Alonso is obviously going to be a popular name too as well and all, but with the additions of Marcelo Meyer, I expect Christian Campbell to be on this team too as well. I expect those two to platoon at second base and all too as well. Hopefully you bring Story back. He's probably going to be opting out of his contract, no different to Alex Bregman. But I would hope both of those guys come back and man the left side of your infield at least and all. And then you still have Duran, Roman Anthony, Saddam Rafaela, William Abreu, throw in Masataka Yoshida because he was awesome from the back end of the season into the playoffs at least. Had your big hit against the Yankees in Game 1 at least, and also Ref Snyder too as well. Even though he didn't look good in the playoffs, Roman Gonzalez too and all. So you still have depth there. I just think you need a slugging bat at first base basically, and hopefully Roman Anthony stays healthy. And then you have the middle of the lineup. If you still have Trevor Story, he can bat 5. You still have Bregman, he can bat 3 or 2. You know what I mean? I'm hoping Jarren Duran either figures it out as a leadoff guy or either just put him in the bottom part of the lineup, and hopefully maybe Marcelo Meyer or Christian Campbell can be your leadoff guy. I know Roman Anthony did it throughout the season, but come on. Yeah, I want him to be your number 2, number 3, or number 4 guy. I don't want Roman Anthony leading off at least and all too as well. I get how baseball is too as well, where they have their best hitters hitting 2. I know Ohtani leads off too as well, so maybe there's your argument of having Roman Anthony up there. I don't know if Roman Anthony's Shohei Ohtani yet, but if he can turn out to be something like that, then you can convince me, I should say, of him starting and being your starter in the lineup at least. No, but your bullpen's awesome. You signed Chapman to an extension, so he'll be here. Who's the other guy there? Garrett Whitlock. I believe he's been a farm guy with you and all too as well, so there's no reason why he's not here next year. Justin Slayton will be here next year too as well. You got a boatload of pitchers that were hurt throughout the season, if not even played this season, that should be ready to go, including Liam Hendricks, Cutter Crawford, a starter there too as well. Liam Hendricks is more of a bullpen guy too as well. You can put Sandoval in there too as well, even though I think it's Pedro Sandoval. I don't think he didn't pitch at all for us, but he's coming off of Tommy John, apparently a dope arm too as well when he's going right. And we'll see if he's going right off of a Tommy John surgery and all too as well. But like even though the disappointing ending at least, no way I was sitting here expecting the Red Sox to make a World Series and all too as well. Just excited that I was able to cover them on the podcast and they actually made the playoffs. And I would have loved the postseason series win at least, especially against the Yankees. Would have been my World Series and all. But totally understandable where they are. Obviously, you can see they pushed themselves into the playoffs and all too as well. This September was a huge struggle for them, especially offensively. And I'm very impressed by the pitching to keep them. The pitching did a great job in the last 2-3 weeks of the season, honestly. I don't remember a game where they gave up 6 runs in a game. Maybe one 6-run game against the A's, if I remember correctly, at home. But they really kept the bats that they were facing at bay, too, as well. Not situationally, they had their moments that they weren't great. Obviously, remember Weiser giving up Toley's and Early's first starts at Fenway, at least. Toley's first start overall, and Early's first start at the crib at Fenway Park, at least. But still, overall, I think they led the league in ERA too as well when it comes to the bullpen and all too as well. So, and Garrett Crochet, one thing I was nervous about going into this postseason was Garrett Crochet's first peak postseason start. Definitely worried about that. No more, honestly, too as well. Flourished big time and all too as well. Just the one. I think it was the one hit to Volpe where he missed outside with a fastball, and Volpe was able to send it to the short porch at Yankee Stadium and all too as well. But definitely a shit ton of positives. I hate how the season ended. I wanted to beat the Yankees, and the Yankees losing to the Blue Jays and the way they lost to the Blue Jays and all does heal my heart a little bit because maybe that's how it's supposed to be. No different to the Celtics losing in 23, but low-key me being happy about it because I don't think anybody was beating Denver in that 23 season and all where they ended up winning the championship. Yes, I'm talking basketball and all too as well, just a slight comparison and all too as well. But yeah, I didn't want to go. I know I wasn't gonna have long with the season-ending episode and all, so that's why I figured let me have a little post-season type of reaction to this Red Sox losing to the Yankees in the wild card and all. So now I'll be going into the NFL and all too as well. Let's bring up the NFL standings because now we are in Week 5. We already had a game in Week 5 where the Giants beat the defending champion Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles, I think 34-17. At New York and all too as well on the Thursday night game and all too as well. 2 straight losses now for Philly and all too as well. They'll be going into Week 6 facing the Vikings and all too as well, which will be an interesting matchup. And since we're talking about the Eagles in this game and all too as well, we can start with the NFC East and see how things are shaking and all. I did pick, I'm standing on it, I did pick the Dallas Cowboys to win the division now. For some context, I made this decision before the Micah Parsons trade, and I'm just sticking with it because I can't pick the Eagles and all too as well. I do like how the Commanders are looking so far. Age has been my concern with them too as well. Jaden Daniels is still playing. The team is not. I don't think the team is all that great, honestly. But again, you got that quarterback that can raise the floor for everybody and all too as well. That's still going on with the Commanders. They've been in so-so games and all too as well. They just beat the Chargers in a 24-10 win? 27. I knew it was 20. I should have said 27. But a 27-10 win against the Chargers and all the we'll get to the Chargers and all too as well. They're dealing with some injuries and all too as well. But the NFC East is looking very much interesting and all. And I knew the Giants wouldn't be as bad as they are. And I was kind of worried about it because Russell Wilson was looking like shit. But Jackson Dart has looked pretty good for the New York Giants. They won his first game against the Chargers at home. They were in a competitive game, at least in the first half, 3 quarters and all, until it looks like the Saints took over and won that game. I think it was 28-14 and all. I was kind of surprised because the Giants were having a game on us. I think they had a lead early, but I'm not sure why they couldn't finish that one off and all. But they learned their lesson, was able to finish it off very well against the Eagles this past Thursday and all too as well. Where Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo. I work at Lids. We already got Giants fans calling me, seeing if they got Scatterboo jerseys and all too as well. So he's becoming a cult hero already in New York and all, but still. But yeah, this division looks very interesting though too as well. You have I just found out that Brian Burns has 7 sacks so far with 5 weeks into the season and all too as well. So these are the defense is showing out with the Giants, even though their bad game against the Cowboys and all too as well. You look at the Saints game too as well. They weren't able to play well too as well, giving up 28 points. Was it 28 points? Let me double check. I'll double check. I believe 26 points to the Saints at least and all too as well. So little like irky with their defense and all, but it seems like they can step up because of the way they played against the Eagles and all too as well. But like I said, I had the Cowboys winning this division. I am not confident about it, but Dak Prescott is playing MVP caliber level for the Cowboys and all at the QB position. Like I said about Jaden Daniels, if your quarterback can play like that, even though your team is down here, it can raise the floor a bit. And I feel, even though I'll be fair, the Cowboys competition hasn't been great, even though I'll argue if CD Lamb doesn't drop the ball multiple times, they're beating the Eagles in the first game of the season and all too as well. And we're seeing how close these games are for the Eagles. I'm standing by that. CD Lamb was a big reason why they lost that game to the Eagles and all. To me, they'd be 3-1-1. They did tie against the Packers and all in the 40-40 game and all. That's how these games have been for the Cowboys. Outside the Bears game where they scored 14 points, I believe, but CD Lamb did get hurt in that. Look at that. Me killing CD Lamb and now giving them credit for their successes or non-successes at least, no, but still. But yeah, I think it really hurt their game plan against the Bears, and also we didn't see their offense flourish there. But every other game outside the Eagles at least, no, even though they did show to move the football against the Eagles, they've put up 30 points in every game. I think 30, 35, if not 37 against the Giants, 37 against the Jets this past week and all, and 40 against the Packers and all too as well and all. I think that, yeah, again, 24 points or 20 points I should say against the Eagles. The Eagles won 24-20, and only putting up 14 points against the Bears and all. And I give Dak grace there with a game plan thing, the weather too as well, honestly. Not the weather too much. It's more the game plan, not having your best receiver available, suddenly getting hurt and all too as well. So that's why I feel like their offense didn't show up. I'm not saying they would have won the game, just the reason why their offense didn't show up and all too as well. But NFC East is very interesting. The Eagles, like I said in my prediction show to start the season, the Eagles' schedule is just very interesting to me. I look at it very tough, honestly. They took care of the first 4 games, even though they were all close games. Beat the Cowboys by 4. Their next game was against was it the Rams? I think the Rams were next. They were down 26-7 and had to come back and win that game. It took a punt block for them or a field goal block, I should say, to win that game. And I think the next game they had a punt block against let's put the Eagles schedule. I'm trying to do it off memory, but it's not working. But there you go. I'm sleeping on the Chiefs game. There it is. I knew there was a game I was sleeping on, but they barely won that game and all. Again, Travis Kelce drops the ball at the goal line where the Chiefs could have had the lead going into the back end of the fourth quarter at least and all. So, and I mean, these are these games. The Rams, like I said, they were down 26-7. We were able to shut out the Rams for the rest of the game, but, again, they put themselves in a precarious situation. And then again, at least the Eagles and the Bucs game, they were up at least, and all the Bucs were able to come back and make this a game at least and all. But you can argue they kind of dominated that game and all. Big plays by the Bucs. Baker Mayfield, another MVP candidate we'll get to. And all too as well. And then, yeah, losing to the Broncos earlier in the week and then losing to the Giants this past Thursday and all too as well. So now we get the Vikings, the Giants who show they can play with them. The Packers, even though I think they're tad overrated and all, are going to give them a game and all. You got the Lions, you got the Cowboys who gave you a game. The Bears are finally give you a easy game for the Eagles at least not going forward. Chargers, if they get healthy, that's a tough game there. Raiders, easy game. And then Commanders, Bills, Commanders the end of the season and all too as well. The Commanders will be fighting for a playoff spot, if not a division title. So those 3 games at the end are going to be tough and all. We're looking at a team that can't play defense either, honestly. Their offense is, even though I have my reservations of their quarterback and all too as well, their offense is not what I'm worried about. It's more about their defense. If their defense played better, their offense will have more time to figure out their rhythm. Their defense is kind of throwing them out of whack in a lot of these games, the Rams game and this past game against the Giants and all too as well. Giants have been, the defense may be okay against the Broncos and all, but I feel like it's been pretty inconsistent throughout the season and all too as well. So that's how I'm looking at the NFC East and all too as well. Maybe outside the Giants, every team still has a chance to win the division. I wouldn't sleep on the Giants though. I just wouldn't sleep on the Giants and all. Even the Giants in their first game against the Commanders, that was a tough game. 14-6 going to the fourth quarter. Russell Wilson was your quarterback. Now you got Jackson Dart where you can at least get him out the pocket, QB draw some plays for him too as well, honestly. They got something cooking over there too as well. And you can argue the Giants have the best defense in that division too as well. So I kind of look at it open. I feel like the Eagles are not going to be bad. I just don't see them running away with this division and all. We're looking at a division in 21 seasons, if not more, a little bit more, where no one's ever gone back-to-back winning the division and all. So it's kind of set up to do that again. It looks like a tie could really be the ending result in this division and all too as well. But we'll see and all too as well. But I knew this. I had a feeling this division would be more interesting than it looked from the outside. Because I understand because the Eagles were so dominant last year. But I think it's closer this year than it's been in past from 1 to 4. Honestly, I give the Giants a shot. Honestly, too as well. They've been in every. I think they've been in every game this year. I'm trying to see. Let me look at their schedule real quick. Outside of the Chiefs game, outside of the Chiefs game, they've been in every game this year and all too as well. So probably let go of the rope a little bit against the Saints and all. But I feel like outside the Chiefs game, they've been in every game and all. So let's move to the NFC North. Very surprised how the Detroit Lions are looking. I had my questions of text message, but I had my reservations about them too as well, and it wasn't about losing the OC and the DC. And we'll get to the DC when we get to the AFC East and all too as well. But it wasn't about that. It was about losing a guy like Frank Ragnow. I think he was an All-Pro center for them, if not an All-Pro O-lineman altogether for them. And they were losing that. And I've always said the reason why I jumped on their bandwagon because they've had one of the best O-lines in football, and then they got one of the best running duos in football and all too as well. So that was my concern after their first game against the Packers. Very high for concern and all too as well. But now when we look at it 5 weeks later and all, looks like the Packers are just on a high by bringing in Parsons for that first game at least and all too as well, because they haven't looked the same. We'll get to them and all, but the Lions have looked like the Lions ever since at least and all, putting up. I gotta look at the teams that they put. The Bears they put 40 points on. The Bears, they put 50 points on. The Ravens, which is a sad story with the Ravens, they put another 38 points on them. A pretty damn good defense, in my opinion, with the Browns. They put 34 points on them, and then put another 37 points on the Bengals. And I'm not liking that they gave up 24 points against the Bengals, but I do see that they're dealing with injuries again and all too as well. Not the same variation they were dealing with it last year, but I did hear that one of their corners, if not both their corners, one of their corners in Terrion Arnold is out indefinitely and all too as well. So I'm curious if that's when he's got hurt and maybe their defense kind of shaked up a bit and all too as well. But they looked great. I understand your questions. I understand people's questions, I should say, about the Lions and all too as well because of their defense. Can they really play defense and all too as well? I like the way they schemed against the Ravens on the Sunday night game against Lamar Jackson and all. Had a QB spy there too as well. My reservations about their previous DC and all, we'll get to him. He's the coach of the Jets and all too as well. I just saw a lot of man-to-man, lack of scheme and all, just playing base stuff and all. I just like seeing that from their new DC there, where they're just implementing some type of scheme. Work or not work. Do something besides playing a base and relying on talent to play defense and all. So, but that's just my criticism of Aaron Glenn and all, and I'll get deeper into it when we get to the AFC East and all too as well. But again, the Lions look great. They got a big game against the Chiefs coming up too as well. It's probably their first real opponent since facing the Packers too as well. The Ravens are a real opponent, but they're dealing with some stuff right now where I can understand that you wouldn't look at them as a real team right now. But with the Lions and the way they look, especially offensively, it's good to see, especially after week one and all. Can their defense really be better with Aiden Hutchinson being back and others like Derek Barnes too as well? Honestly, you still got Brian Branch out there too as well, and they're back, and they still got some star players in each level of their defense and all. So can they really show up being a top 10 to caliber defense and all too as well? And I find that this matchup against the Chiefs, who have picked it up a little bit too, and we'll get to them and all too as well when we get to the AFC West, was going to be an interesting matchup for the Lions and also. But we got the Packers there, 2-1-1, had a great first game, like I said, against the Lions and all, had a trap game clearly against the Browns soon after. They had a good Thursday night game against the Commanders and all too as well, but those were their first two wins and all. But they kind of, what did they do? They lost against the Browns, and then they gave up 40 points. You thinking the Packers were a good defense, they sit there and give up 40 points to the Cowboys and all. And I got a lot of love for Dak Prescott right now, but still giving up 40 points if your defense is supposed to be championship level, top 5, top 10-ish and all, it's not a good sign and all. So I'm kind of teetering. I'd never liked the Packers going in. Their schedule is favorable, so that's why, not as much as the Lions, I should say. I thought, kind of going in, I like the Packers more than the Lions, but looking at the schedules, it's hard not to think the Lions can win the division outright and all too as well. But the Packers, they got things there. Jordan Love, I'm a fan of Jordan Love, but he's got question marks. You got to really have questions for him. The Micah Parsons really stepping up in big games and all too as well. Like we really didn't see him against the Cowboys in the big game all of a sudden because, going back to Dallas, Dak Prescott, former QB, didn't really see him, and towards like the end part of the game at least and all. And by then, the Cowboys offense was already humming anyway. Even if he got a sack or made a pressure at least and all, it wasn't going to make much of a difference. Dak Prescott was in a rhythm and all already. So I'm kind of worried about the Packers. I don't know if they're a tad bit overrated and all too as well. I'm saying that right now. They got to have a game to prove me wrong, honestly. I'm curious what their next game is for Week 6. It's going to be against the Bengals. Do they win that game cleanly? They struggled against the Browns, and we're seeing a Bengals team that made a trade for Joe Flacco, and they were able to move the football a little bit in the second half against the Lions and all. Don't tell me they kind of figured out something. I'm worried about the Packers in this game, honestly. I would think the Packers win, but the way they looked against the Browns, I got my questions and all. So that's why I think they're a tad overrated and all. You got the Vikings and the Bears after. I like the Vikings. Injuries are messing with them again, honestly. They're able to win games even with the injuries. That's why I like this team a lot. Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell there. Well-coached team, at least, and all. It's just the injuries. J.J. McCarthy was hurt. Their O-line was dealing with some injuries, too, as well, honestly. I think the Falcons got away with a win in Monday night and all because the Vikings O-line was just falling apart and all, too, as well. But they're an interesting team. I like them more than the Packers at this point. I don't think they're overrated. Injuries are the reason why I can't feel comfortable saying they can be the number 2 team, if not battle the Lions for the division at least. It's just the injuries that are making me skeptical about them. They got the Eagles coming up, so if they can win games like that, I won't feel too skeptical about them. The Packers just losing that game against the Browns, giving up 40 points and tying with the Cowboys and all too as well. Especially when we know how bad the Cowboys defense is. You would think the Packers defense had the edge, and the Packers offense can equal if not mirror the Cowboys offense at least and all too as well, but unable to show it. The Vikings have showed up in games even with the injuries and all too as well. So it's a very interesting 2-3 and all too as well. I have more faith in the Vikings, but I think the Packers just have the better talent. And the injury bug hasn't hit them yet. So that's why I give them the edge so far. But I do like the Vikings, and they're sitting right there and all. If it wasn't for the tie, if the Packers lost that game instead of tying with the Cowboys, the Vikings would be number 2 and all. Bears, still don't believe in them. I think I said what I said in the prediction show and all. It's a developing year for them and all. We'll see how they end. I'm not wasting too much time on the Bears and all too as well. Prove me wrong. And then the halfway report card. Maybe I have something more to say and all. But I'm not impressed and all too as well. I feel like they lucked into their 2 wins they lucked into. I brought up the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb getting hurt and all. They were able to pounce on the Cowboys early, and then they beat the Raiders and all. We can honestly say the Raiders are probably the worst team in football right now too as well, with the New York Jets and all too as well. So that's the NFC North so far. That's what we got cooking up in the NFC North. Now the NFC South, loving the leader of it so far because I picked the Bucs to go to the Super Bowl and all win this division, and they looked awesome. They've dealt with injuries, but they looked awesome. Baker Mayfield, top 3 MVP candidate in my opinion, all too as well. Mecca Ibuka, offensive rookie of the year and all too as well. You got Bucky Irvin, unfortunately he got hurt. He was making some big plays for them too as well. Honestly, the defense has been clutch. Hasn't been great, but they've been clutch at least and all too as well, which you would expect from a Todd Bowles team, and still got remnant players from their Super Bowl team and all too as well. So really like the Bucs. Hopefully they can get healthy. Mike Evans is hurt now with a hamstring injury. Chris Godwin I don't think has been back, and if he's been back, I think he got hurt again and all too as well. Tristan Wirth just came back for their O-line, but I believe someone else in their O-line is out for the year too as well, honestly. So they're dealing with some injuries. They're still playing well through it. Had one hell of a game against the Seahawks in Seattle this past Sunday and all too as well. So they look great. I'm hoping they can get healthy and all, because maybe once they get healthy, they can run away with this division. Because the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints, Falcons are your default number 2. I don't believe in them. I just don't believe in them. I don't like that loss to the Carolina Panthers. You can lose to a division opponent. I understand that, but 30-0. I don't know. They fired their wide receiver coach, and all of a sudden they were able to move the football down the field and all. Is that long-term solution? No. I think that's a short-term solution. So I have questions about Zach Robinson. I got questions about Raheem Morris. I got from the top to the coaching, I got questions. I like the talent on the team. There's no way you can ignore the talent on the Atlanta Falcons. Even I won't do that. But I don't trust who's running them, who's coaching them, who's organized. I just don't trust it and all too as well. And you kind of see it and all too as well. Like I said, in the Minnesota game, I feel like they got away. Like they only scored field goals against a team that was getting hurt, and they weren't able to move the football down the field. Imagine if the Vikings were just slightly healthy in that game and all, 1 touchdown or 2. It's a football game because the Falcons weren't putting them away with touchdowns and all too as well. I know they came back in their last game against. They put up some points in the last game against who? Against the Command. Ooh, they beat the Commanders? Yeah, because Jane Daniels wasn't playing at least and all too as well. Another break for the Falcons is why I can't take them seriously. You gave up 27 points to Marcus Mariota, and apparently because of stats, the Falcons are a top 5 defense and all too as well. I don't buy it. I just don't take it seriously and all too as well. They got a big game on Monday against the Bills. The Bills defense has not looked great. We saw what my Pats did this past Sunday against them. The Saints were able to put up some points on them, and I think they had a lead going into the fourth quarter in Buffalo and all too as well. Gave up 40 points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and all the Bills' defense is not good. So if the Falcons offense that's pretty legitimate with Bijan Robinson there too as well. If they can't put up some points to get an early start against the Bills, it breeds me more questions about the Falcons and all too as well. So that's why I have my questions. They have a big game coming up against the Bills, a team that's championship worthy but doesn't play championship defense. They should be able to take advantage, and they should be in the football game against the Bills at home, mind you, too as well. The Panthers, the Saints, not so bad as a 1-4 team. I thought they'd be the worst team in football. They're not there. They're nowhere close to that. Like I said, they beat the Giants. They're in a football game against the Bills. I think they barely lost to the 49ers too, I believe, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, they lost to the 49ers 26-21. The worst loss was against the Seahawks and all. And they're probably in that game against the Cardinals and all, who gave up a win against the Titans and all too as well. We get to that. We'll get to that in the next NFC, with the NFC West and all too as well. But the Saints aren't too bad as a 1-4 team. There'll be some 1-4 teams, some 0-5 teams I'll be talking about. But the Saints don't fit that mirror at least. No, you got to give a shout out to Kellen Moore. He's got Spencer Rattler looking a little bit different and all. They're playing some defense over there too. My Pats are playing them tomorrow. I'm nervous. So we'll get to the AFC East and all, but the Pats are going in there with like half a defense and all too as well. So the way the Saints have been able to move the football, I am nervous and all. Drake Mays look dope. I won't get too much in the tangent. We'll say that for the AFC East, but for the Saints at least, no, they're not a bad 1-4 team. Their record would fool you, in my opinion. You're going to be in the game against the Saints and all too as well. So that's what I got for the NFC South. The Bucs are the only team I take seriously there. You got the NFC North that got 2 to 3 teams I can take seriously. 2 teams, I put the Packers in there. And then the NFC East, I agree. I'm going there. You can put all 4 teams in the NFC East and give them a chance to win the division and all, because the Eagles' schedule is tough, and I think they're a 500, 10-7 type of team and all, and it breeds room for the Commanders. Definitely the Commanders, maybe the Cowboys, definitely maybe for the Giants, but I like the way they look over the last 3 games at least. I like the way they looked all season, honestly. It was just the quarterback position that was really sending them back and all. They put Jackson Dart there, no Malik Neighbors, top receiver and all too. It was all top receiver. They don't have him anymore because he tore his ACL. Jackson Dart was still able to do what he did on Thursday night, able to move the football, make some dope throws too. It wasn't just he was running the ball. He was making some dope throws too and all too. So yeah, tangent there with the Giants at least. No, but the Saints, to my point, their record's not real. That's a good team. That's a solid team, I should say. I don't think they're below 5. They're below mid like their record suggests at least. No, they're gonna give you a game and all. So I feel like the Saints deserve their credit there. Even with the Panthers having a 2-3 record, I argue the Panthers have looked. I would argue the Saints have looked better than the Panthers so far this season and all. So, but the NFC West, now a division similar to the NFC East and all too as well. The last team there with the Cardinals, I don't know if we can take seriously, especially with their last loss against the Titans, where you had a guy named DeMarco get to the goal line, chuck the ball to the back end of the end zone, all turned into a touchback. They lost a touchdown there, and then the defense was able to get an interception, but they fumbled it, and then the fumble landed on the end zone where the Titans scored a touchdown. So 14 points basically on the incident in that scenario and all. The Titans were able to hit a field goal to a guy that can't even make a PAT apparently and all, point after touchdown and all, but still they were able to win that game and all. And the Cardinals lose a game in a weird way and all, where they were up 21-6, I believe, it going, sometime in the third quarter at least. So based off that, I can't take them seriously. They are a good team. And all. Like, I'm a fan of Jonathan Gannon, even though he had that moment with his player there. I just don't know how you expect him to react. I think he's doing that behind closed doors anyway and all too as well. But maybe the look of it was the reason why he got fined. I think it was either $50,000 or $100,000 he got fined for, I guess, putting his hands on the running back that made that mistake and all too as well. I don't condone it, but I get it. Come on, man. You're up 21-6, that touchdown there. You're up 28-6. It's game over with 4 minutes left in the third quarter and all. I completely understand the emotion and all. I do respect can't be doing that on TV and all that type of stuff and all too as well. So I do get that. But a team that's pretty talented and all, they just do too many stupid stuff and all too as well. So even though I like this division, I just can't take the Cardinals seriously, unfortunately. But the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers, we got something brewing between these 3 teams and all. I did say the Rams would win this division by default, but I did give these other 3 teams a chance. I'm throwing away the Cardinals. I'm not giving the Cardinals a chance. But the Seahawks, I don't take them seriously, but Sam Darnold seems to be doing what he did last year at least, which is pumping the football down the field and putting points on the board, and even in situations too, being a little clutch and all. Their 2 losses are byproduct of him, with the fumble there against the 49ers when Nick Bosa pushed the O lineman into him, and I believe he threw an interception 35-35 with like a minute or so left, and the Buccaneers were able to go down and hit a field goal to win the game and all too as well. So as much as good as he's looked with Jackson Smith-Njigba, one of the best wide receivers in my opinion in the league and all, not top end but he's he's pretty damn good. But but yeah, again Sam Darnold's able to move the football down the field, but it seems like he's still making those big mistakes at the end of these games and all. Kind of figured it out in the first half or so in the first, last year with the Minnesota Vikings, but it just seems to be going the other way at certain points and all too as well. The offense looks good, like I said. The Seahawks had a dope game against the Buccaneers and all, but they weren't able to finish the game and all. And it was a Sam Darnold turnover and all. The Rams look good besides their D-backs and all too as well. Like I said, they were up 26-7, and the Eagles, out of all the things I say about their throwing game, were able to throw the football against the Rams to get back in that football game and all too as well. What's the other loss there? I'm trying to think of the other loss. They lost to the Eagles. They lost to the 49ers on the Thursday night game and all to Mac Jones and all too as well. So division game, not going to take too much into that. I think the game was like 26-16. 26-23. Yeah, it was a close game and all too as well. So those are their two losses. Pretty good. If you're going to have a bad loss, if you have a loss, I don't want to call a good loss. I'm not trying to call a loss good. But those are competitive games, I should say, up with the Rams at least. So I don't think they're falling off or anything like that. I really hope they figure out their D-back situation, defensive back situation. It seems like they have no one to cover, honestly, too, as well. So that's kind of my only worry there with them. They got a dope front four. I think their front seven is pretty damn good, but I know their front four is dope and all too as well. I think Kyron Williams has had a fumbling issue, no different from Ramondre Stevenson with the New England Patriots and all too as well. But I don't know. Sean McVay, Stafford there, that D-line and all too as well. It's enough there for me to trust that they're going to be in contention throughout the season. I don't think it's a definite to win the division, though. That's my only concern and all. Because you look at the Niners, they're 4-1, and they have a boatload of injuries again, honestly. But they're winning games and all too as well. You got a question there. Is Mac Jones better than Brock Purdy? I think it's a real question and all too as well. He's not better, but who looks better in Kyle Shanahan's offense, I think is the question and all too as well. I'm not going to say Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy is degraded to a degree over the last 3 to 4 years compared to Mac Jones, who's turned into a bench player. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to go that far, but because of where Mac Jones was in the draft in 2019, if not 2020, and there were talks about him going to San Francisco and all. So how could he have looked with Kyle Shanahan, who's made certain quarterbacks look pretty good? Nick Mullins look pretty good and all too as well. So now you're seeing what Mac Jones is doing. The guys, Mac Jones. I'm not going to look up Mac Jones' stats, but I think he's hit 300 yards a couple times and all too. I think he's had 2 passing touchdowns a couple times in these games and all. So he hasn't looked completely bad compared to what I was seeing in New England and all. And I'll even be fair, the way Bill Belichick's looking at UNC and all. Was it really Mac Jones' fault? I didn't like his talent. I was never going to be a fan of his talent. But maybe it wasn't entirely his fault. And it was kind of obvious. Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, a special teams guy and a defensive guy as your offensive coordinator, should have known it wasn't entirely Mac Jones' fault, at least in all too as well. But the way he's looking with the 49ers, at least in all, extra security for Brock Purdy and all, who's dealing with a turf toe and all, supposed to be 1 to 5 weeks. He came back against the Jags and didn't look good. So I would assume, then we saw Mac Jones against the Rams, there we go, and won that game, putting up 26 points at least, squeaking out of it. But still, compared to Brock Purdy, I think he only put up 14 points, as a collective, I should say, and all. They put up 14 points against the Jaguars, but, losing 26-14 and all, too, as well. But no Nick Bosa, too, as well. So be curious if they make a move, at the trade deadline, too, as well, honestly. But, and very interesting division. I don't think, like, with the Eagles and the NFC East, at least, you can see how the Eagles can figure it out and take it away, at least, I'm giving arguments to Washington and Dallas to think they have a chance, at least. And they do. They have a legitimate chance, at least, But this division, out of all the NFC division, this division is definitely the one wide open, at least, Like I mentioned with the North, it's 2 to 3 teams, at least, and it's really only 2. I feel like the 2 and 3 will figure themselves out, and it'll be the Lions and whoever figures them out. But with this division, you can argue the Niners winning. I wouldn't argue the Seahawks winning, but I can see someone saying it, honestly, because they've played some defense. And again, they're moving the football down the field. Sam Darnold with his turnover issues at the end of games, sure, but they're still moving the football down the field and all too. So I give them the respect there. And the Rams are the Rams. The Rams have been doing this over the past couple seasons anyway, injuries or not. They're in contention either for a wild card spot or like last year for the division. But outside the Cardinals, I think this division is pretty wide open, honestly. So I think it's a quarter by quarter with this division because the Niners could be 4-1 now. They can easily be, not easily, but you can understand if they come back down to the pat, be 4-3. While the Seahawks and the Rams win their next game or so. So I can just see this division kind of going back and forth throughout the year and all. It'd be interesting how the Seahawks look and all too as well. They're a true wild card and all because they have what you need. And it's not like Sam Darnold didn't make the playoffs last year on a 15-2 if not 14-3 team with the Vikings and all too as well. So that's by far your most wide open division in the NFC and all. But I'm loving it. I'm loving how the NFC is looking right now. You have, to me, throw out the Packers. Let's put the Eagles there, the Lions, the Bucks, and then, two teams out of the NFC West at least and all. You got 6 legitimate teams that you can argue can get to the Super Bowl at least and all too as well. And the AFC, a lot different and all too as well. So we get started with the AFC East and all too as well. I mentioned the Bills and their defense and all too as well. We're talking about the Saints and all too as well. Josh Allen's Josh Allen. They ain't nothing to question with Josh Allen. Though. James Cook has looked good this year, too, as well. Dalton Kincaid looked awesome against my Pats, too, as well. I'm assuming he's having a pretty damn good year, too, as well, honestly. But the problem with the Bills is no different what's the problem with the Eagles and all, too, as well. Even though the Bills have shown offense compared to the Eagles, their defense is the big issue and all. 40 points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter to the Ravens and all, too, as well. You're giving up points against the Saints and all too as well where you're down in that game. And Josh Allen has to save your hive at least and all too as well. You lucked out with the Jets because the Jets are the Jets. And we'll get to the Jets at least and all too as well with a terrible, terrible thing we're seeing there, honestly. Yep, I'm saying it too as well. But for the Bills at least. Now the defense is a question. I do think they figure it out. There's some new pieces there. Tre'Davious White, who's not the same Tre'Davious White, but they just added him back. Joey Bosa, they added to there too as well. They have a new signal. I heard in the last game against the Pats, they got a new signal caller who used to be Milano. I forgot to catch the guy's name, but it seems like they're even changing that up too as well. Who's making the calls and who's getting guys in the right position all too as well. So I give their defense a break. I think they can come back together compared to the Eagles defense. So I'm going backwards. At least they lost a lot of guys, and not a lot of guys, but they lost a fair amount of guys. Yeah, they lost a fair amount of guys in free agency and all. Darius Slay, I know he's not the same Darius Slay, but I guess a standard to a degree to their backfield at least and all. Gone. Milton Williams came to New England, and I'm not sure where Sweat went, but he ended up leaving. I thought he was the MVP of their Super Bowl, more to Jalen Hurts at least. And all. Again, it's not a dig. Their defense was pretty damn good in that game and all too as well in the Super Bowl. I thought somebody deserved to have the credit of that, honestly, because they were awesome. There were like 3 or 4 players who had 2 sacks in that Super Bowl and all. So I thought that was a big reason why they won that game. But still, I see the Bills adding new people, and they're just trying to find that rhythm. And this defense has been like that. It may not hold well with them going into the playoffs and all, because the same recipe that works in the regular season where they figure it out late doesn't seem to work in the playoffs and all. But for the regular season, we're talking. I still like them to win the division and all too as well. Even though my Pats are 3-2 and have themselves a hell of a game against the Bills and all, we don't know I said we, but I really did just say we. But we're not. I just did it again. But I'm not sure if the Pats can stay consistent the way they've been playing. The last 2 weeks have been good. Last 3 out of 4 have been good. Winning against the Dolphins, but then blowing it against the Steelers the way you did, turning over the ball. But winning big against the Panthers and then coming back and winning again against the Bills and all. So are they trending up, or is it still like this and all too as well? The reason why I think it's trending up because Drake May has looked better in each game going forward. His numbers may not say that, but he's looked better in every game. Looked better in every game at least. No, I feel like he looked good in the Raiders game. The interception drawed him back, looked great against the Dolphins. I think he went like 22 for 28 or something like that. If not like 21 for 23. He had a game like that. I wasn't sure if against the Dolphins or against the Panthers and all, but had a great game against the Dolphins. Moved the ball well against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give them credit for forcing the turnover where they tipped one of his passes in the end zone and got an interception there. Ramondre Stevenson with like 3 fumbles and all too as well in that game. I think May had a fumble too in that game. Altogether they had 5 turnovers in that game and all too as well. So is that out of them, or is that still there? I would love to think that they're out of them, because if that's out of them, the Patriots have a very favorable schedule where they can sit there and be in the playoffs and all, in the weak ass AFC. I'm standing by how weak this AFC is and all too as well. But the Bills are your standard in the AFC East. I said the Patriots were a default buy because I didn't believe in the Dolphins and Jets, and they've given you no reason to believe in them too as well. But can the Pats be consistent? I think that's really the question and all too. So they can be consistent. Their schedule, you got the Saints coming up, you get the Titans next, the Browns at home, and then the Falcons at home too. 4 winnable games if you're playing the consistency they're playing right now too as well. So I'm curious how they'll be looking going forward and all too. So can they just keep the consistency? The defense won't be there. After defense, I'm being what's it called, a little like extra by saying that they have half their defense out. But they got key players like Keon White, Christian Gonzalez is going to be questionable and all. There's a couple linebackers. I know there's another D lineman like Farmer that are on the injury report and all too as well. Or no, not even on the injury report, listed out and all too as well. So can you take can you be like the Niners? Can you be like the Buccaneers? Still win a game when you don't have your full roster there too as well, honestly. So I'm curious how they'll look. If they can keep the consistency, they're a playoff team and all too. So Drake May's looked that good, where I expect them to continue looking this good and all too as well. And I think there's a shit ton of improvement for him too as well. Him in the defense and all too as well. But they seem to they're progressing upward. So I really think Mike Vrabel as the coach, I really think it can continue and all too as well. So very optimistic, even though I'm a Pats fan, very optimistic that they can keep this up and all. Maybe have some episodes just talking about the Pats. No different from the Red Sox and the Celtics at least and all too as well. But still, I'll hang in and all too as well. But the Dolphins and the Jets, Dolphins look like something, but they just keep fucking it up. The Bills, they had a chance to win the game, messed it up. Up 17-0 against the Carolina Panthers, messed it up. I bet there's another game in there too as well that they messed up and all too as well for themselves. Let me see. Yeah, the Panthers game down 17-0. At least they won the Jets game on the road. They had the Dolphins on the road. But yeah, that's the other game I'm thinking of. The Pats. They had a chance to beat the Patriots too. Honestly, they had themselves a kick return for a touchdown and all too as well. No different from Antonio Gibson, who unfortunately is out for the season. It looks like for the Patriots at least all too as well. But the Dolphins have at least shown some life. The Jets have shown no life. And I'm not surprised, because Aaron Glenn, to me, is not a real defensive coordinator. A motivator, a leader of men, all that ish. That's Aaron Glenn. Give him all the credit in the world. I bet if he was up here in my room right now and giving me a speech, I'd be motivated to go do what I got to do and all too as well. But as a defensive coordinator, a scheme guy, I think there's a shit ton of questions about Aaron Glenn and all. I had my questions about the Detroit Lions, the injuries that they dealt with over the last 2 years, especially last year. I feel like the year before wasn't as bad, but last year definitely. They dealt with their injuries, so we kind of scared away from that too as well. Had my questions with him as a defensive guy. He got this job because of being a defensive guy, even though I give him credit for the leadership and the motivating stuff and all too as well. Definitely a real guy there. But I'm worried about him as a scheme guy. Not sure who they have at OC and DC too as well, honestly. I'm not trying to compare Aaron Glenn to Gerard Mayo and all, but I bet his recruitment, if not hiring, is no different from Gerard Mayo, who didn't have that much luster out in the industry to bring in, reputable people into the staff at least. You look at Mike Vrabel, look at the offensive side. Josh McDaniels, who is it there? Thomas Brown there. And then you got, what's his name there? Doug Marrone as the O-line coach and all too as well. Gerard Mayo would only wish to bring in reputable people like that into his staff and all, because, he's not as seasoned as Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's been a coach, assistant coach there at OSU, I think, before getting his job at Tennessee. Then went to the Cleveland Browns and all too as well as an assistant for a year. I think it was too as well. Maybe two, yeah, I think it was a year. I think he got fired 2 years ago, but still, maybe 2 years he was there and all. Man's built up connects. Gerard Mayo, all he was a quote unquote DC from Bill Belichick and all too as well. So that's where I'm putting Aaron Glenn and Gerard Mayo in the same place at least and all. Can he really staff a coach? Can he really staff coaching to really show what he really wants to show on the field and all? Because the Jets and the Dolphins are similarly talented and all too as well, in different places at least and all. But at least the Dolphins flash. I'll give you a break. Mike McDaniels is a 4-year coach now, maybe 3 to 4 year coach with them and all too. So he has a head start. But I just think 5 games in, you would think you would flash as a new coach and all. I'm trying to go over teams that have a new coach this season. The Jaguars, Liam Cohen, flashed. We'll get to them and all, and their 4-1 record and all. There's another team there. There's another team that I had in my mind and all. I just didn't think that was going to come up and all too as well. But there's another team that got a new coach. Yeah, Ben Johnson, former colleague and all with the Detroit Lions and all. At least his offense has flashed. I'm not a big fan of it, but at least it's flashed too as well. I'm having the big issue with Aaron Glenn and his defense. You got Quinton Williams, Sauce Gardner on your defense. You can't flash something. At least this team doesn't have a takeaway. They're the only team in football that doesn't have a takeaway and all too as well. So I have my questions about Aaron Glenn. Not trying to say he's a bad guy and all. And even though I'm saying scheme and all that stuff, it's not trying to say he's a dumb guy or he's not educated and all. I just think that's one of his weaknesses at least and all too as well. Just implementing scheme week in, week out at least. And all. I feel like the Jets are kind of dealing with that. I feel like they're just out there relying on talent on both sides of the ball. You would think the defense would show up a little bit more to help the offense out, but there's not one game where the Jets defense has showed out and just been dominant for a half even, a quarter maybe, nothing. So I got strong word division for Aaron Glenn. I am not a type of person that wants people losing their job or anything like that, but the way it's looking, the Jets, I think the last thing the Jets fans don't really have much to look forward to. I'm trying to be nice there, but I think the last thing they were expecting was on their trending to go 0-16 and all too as well. So Aaron Glenn has a serious work to do in my opinion, though, because I feel like you saw this in Detroit. The injuries kind of covered it and all. When you have Sauce Gardner, who you just paid, you have Quinton Williams in the middle of your defense, you got to flash something. There are some teams that don't even have that defense, and they're able to flash something, at least and all. I would think the Jets could flash something defensively. I'm stuck on that until they flash defensively. If they don't flash defensively for the whole season, I'm going to be more down on Aaron Glenn, unfortunately. I'm already down because of his time with Detroit. And I feel like he could have put a better defense around that team and all too as well, with a better scheme. And all too as well, you don't have to sit there and rely on talent. Now you have some sort of talent there with the Jets, and you show nothing. And all too as well, you can't even get a takeaway. You're a defensive guy, can't even get a takeaway. Every team in the league's got a takeaway. Even the Raiders. And the Raiders got that in week 1 against my Patriots and all too as well. You get a takeaway. I'm frustrated with the Jets and Aaron Glenn, honestly, too, as well. I feel like it's something that's obvious. I don't know. I feel like I'm losing my beans or whatever for no reason, honestly. But it's just disappointing for a guy who's a defensive guy, gets credit for the defense and just doesn't do anything. And we ignore that and all too as well. It bothers me. I'm sorry. It bothers me. So let's go to the AFC North. Let's talk about more positive stuff at least. And I'll talk about a mess of a division though. Another ugly division and all too as well. We got the Steelers leading it at 3-1. Ain't nobody gonna sit here and think the Steelers look like a 3-1 team and all with their defense. Even though their defense is giving up yards, but they're forcing takeaways at least. And also I'll stand clear there, even though they don't look good. The Bengals, how are the Bengals 2-3 and they're second place in this division? It's just that's how bad this division is. And all too as well, no Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow hurt his turf toe, out for apparently it takes 12 weeks, or it takes at least 12 weeks to recover from the surgery that he had on his turf toe, at least and all too as well. So they just traded for Joe Flacco. They were 2-0. Bengals have lost 3 in a row and all too as well. So they're bringing Joe Flacco. We'll see. The defense is not as bad as you think, even though it's bad. It's just not as bad as you think. You know what I mean? Because they've been some sort in games, right? The Lions were already up. Broncos blew them out. Vikings blew them out. Yeah, so maybe the Jaguar game they were kind of hit. Honestly, that's when Joe Burrow, I believe, got hurt. Yeah, that's probably when Joe Burrow got hurt and all too as well. So never mind. Defense does not look good at all. But maybe if their offense scored, maybe they'd be more in these games at least, and I'll put some pressure on the opponent at least and all too as well. But they're not good. I don't even know how they're second place and all, because the Ravens are dealing with. The Ravens are good. Let's not do that to the Ravens at least and all. Lamar Jackson is 40 points against the Bills, 38 points against the Lions, I believe. He's put up some points. Lamar, I'm talking about 41 points against the Browns. 37. No, that's the Chiefs throwing 37 points. So it kind of stopped in the Chiefs game and all too as well. But that game was already looking bad before Lamar got hurt. But the Baltimore Ravens defense, another team that's dealing with a shit ton of injuries, honestly, too as well. To me, no Kyle Van Noy for me, honestly. I think Roquan Smith is hurt too as well. They had a D lineman that's out for the season too as well, honestly. I think Kyle Hamilton just started getting hurt too for that team, and also it's just injury upon injury for them now. Lamar Jackson's out with a hamstring injury. Probably won't be back until their bye week that starts next week after this week, at least. And also, I'm hoping they're going 1-5. They're facing the Rams this Sunday, so they're not winning that game. There's no way. If the Rams lose that game, then we got big questions about the Rams and all too as well. If they give up 30 points against Cooper Rush. We got huge questions about the Rams and all, but again, the Ravens, it's not like they don't look good. It's just injuries and all too as well. When are they going to get healthy? Their schedule and the weak-ass AFC, I think, gives them a chance to make a second-half run, win 7 to 8 games, and barely get in as a division winner, because I don't think the Steelers are running away with this division and all. But what's it called there? But I think they can win 7 and 8, get themselves to a 10-7 record, maybe 9-8, maybe, and tie in the division, if not win the division. No, the Steelers will stay above 500. This is Mike Tomlin. They will stay above 500. I just don't see the clip that they're on right now. Looks like they're gonna go 14-3 or something, or 13-4. I don't see it. So I think the Ravens are able to. If they get, it's huge if they get healthy. You know, these are big. We're talking about Kyle Hampton, Roquan Smith, and Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy is a playoff performer. Roquan Smith is one of your top tacklers in the league season on season. Kyle Hampton, to me, is one of your top safeties in the league and all too as well. You're not winning many games to have that. That's why I give Aaron Glenn some shit, because your defense looks like the Ravens, but you have Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner on your team. Doesn't make sense. So that's why I give the Ravens a break. No one's playing for them. And now you don't have Lamar Jackson. You can't score points. The Texans put up 44, and they only scored 10, right? Or was it 18? 10 points, yeah, because you had Cooper Rush. And the Texans defense is pretty damn good, too, honestly. We'll get to them when we get to the AFC South and all, too, as well. But can the Ravens get healthy? Because they can win this division. I don't care. I don't care if they lose tomorrow and go into this bye week 1-5. As long as they become healthy by week 10, I give them a chance. My bad. But week 10, I give them a chance to win this division. Definitely make the playoffs, because the AFC is just not strong. It's not going to get stronger. Only way it gets stronger if the Ravens are able to get out of their ass. We'll get to the Chiefs. They're in their ass right now, and the Texans too as well. So I'm saying that because they're all below 500, at least on two as well. These are 3 teams we expect to be above 500 and win their divisions to go into the playoffs at least. So again, can the Ravens get healthy? Because I think as soon as they get healthy, they'll be right back. They were 40 points against the Browns, 40 points in the loss, though, against the Bills, and another 38 in the loss against the Lions. They were scoring, and their defense, I'll give even though the defense wasn't playing well to start the season last year, I will still say, and even though they were healthy, I'm pretty sure they were healthy against the Bills when they gave up 25 points going into the last 5 minutes of the fourth, and the Bills ended up having 41 points by the end of the game, I think, if not like 42 or something. So very interesting there. Very interesting there, because the Ravens defense hasn't been like something to walk home, to brag about, I should say, over the last season and a half at least. No, but I just think if they can get healthy, they have enough of a defense with Lamar Jackson who's going to put points on the board when he's healthy, that they can win a stretch of games and all too as well. I won't go through the schedule and all too as well. I already did that with some other teams. I didn't even mean to do that. I'm about to hit an hour too as well. We're back on the hour episodes and all too as well, because there's so much in the NFL, so much information to dig through and all too as well. But with all that, I give the Ravens a chance as long as they get healthy and all. The AFC is not striking fear to me and all. That's why, as a Pats fan, if they can stay consistent, they'll make the playoffs too as well, honestly. It's just really about, can they get healthy. I think they can reel out a string of wins. They haven't faced the Steelers yet too as well. They're 1-0 in their division, right? It doesn't show here, but they only lost to the Browns so far, right? They lost to the Texans. What was the game before? Lost to the Texans, and they lost to the Chiefs. So, I mean, AFC team at least and all, AFC teams, but when it comes to the division at least and all, still sitting pretty. To me, you don't want to be 1-5. I'm not gonna sit here being 1-5 is a place to be, but I think because of their circumstances, they can get themselves out of it and all too as well. So, no different from This reminds me of the Indianapolis Colts in 2018 when they went 1-5. I bet with my buddy $20 that they would come back and win the division, and in the last game of the season blew that team out where it wasn't even a question. They were making the playoffs and all. So I think the Ravens, and that was just circumstance and all too as well. They were kind of not healthy in those first 6 games. That's why I had belief the Colts would win those games and all. It's kind of the same belief I have in the Ravens and all, if they can just get healthy and all. I'll look at the schedule, fine. You got the Bears, you got the Dolphins. Wins. If Lamar Jackson can come back after that bye week. Vikings, tough game. Browns, you show you can score points on them. Should be a win. Jets, Bengals, Steelers, you have a chance to get yourself back in the division. Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. The end is pretty tough. I'll give you that. But when we get back after their bye week, you got the Bears, the Dolphins, you got the Browns, you got the Ravens, and the Bengals before you see the Steelers for the first time. I think that's such an opportunity. We can win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 wins right there you can have. And if you can beat the Vikings in the middle of that, that's 6 wins right there. Next thing you know, you're 7-4. You're right back in contention also, or 7-5, because I think they're losing to the Rams. I'm not going to do that. The Rams sometimes play with themselves, so we'll see. But I think the Rams win that game. They're 1-5. They can easily win those next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games to get themselves back into a 7-5, 6 games, 7-5. Yeah, I'm checking my math. 7-5 type of scenario. See where the Steelers are at. I don't think they're running off wins and all too as well. Got that first game of December 7th against the Steelers. You can win that game. Maybe lose a game here or there before seeing the Steelers again. There's a chance to win the division and all too as well if you win that game and all. So I just don't think the Ravens are completely out of it yet and all too as well. There's some, the Vikings game between those games is big. If they can win that game with those other games and all, and their urgency is going to be high, especially if they go 1-5 into the bye week at least and all, and especially if Lamar Jackson can come back and 1 or 2 defensive players come back, their urgency level is going to be high at least and all. And I can really see them doing that, honestly. This is a team that's done that over the past couple seasons, honestly. They just done it in the first half of the year where they're up 7, they already have a 7-1 record already, honestly. Now it seems like they'll be doing it backwards, and I believe they can and all too as well. So the Browns are the Browns. They got a cool defense, but Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders are your quarterbacks. So AFC South, we got 2 4-1 teams in this division with the Colts and the Jaguars. If you're asking me who I take seriously between these two teams, it's the Colts. Love their running back, love their O-line, kind of like their weapons, like their defense. Their quarterback, I got huge questions about. Their coach in the back end of the season, going to have huge questions about because Shane Steichen has blown it 2 seasons in a row for that Colts team and all. Does he hit the trifecta? I honestly think he does. I trust him more than the Jaguars, though, because I feel like the Jaguars are only winning these games because of takeaways by their defense. A round of applause. That's a dope thing. I'm not trying to knock that. But I don't see anything that Trevor Lawrence is doing that's winning these games and all. Liam Cohen, I think Liam Cohen's been dope for the other parts of the team and all. But Liam Cohen has come in, and Brian Thomas ain't the same either. So that's why I don't take this seriously, too, as well. Honestly, Ryan Thomas or Brian Thomas, I don't know if I'm getting his name right, was, Offensive Rookie of the Year, if not Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate. I believe Malik Neighbors probably won Offensive Rookie of the Year, but looked pretty damn dope himself and looked better than Marvin Harrison, who was, I'm not going to say tagged as generational, but tagged as, as a dope talent coming into the league as a rookie at least. Now, Ryan or Brian Thomas looked better than, let me just look it up so I can just get it right. Thomas, Jaguars. Brian Thomas Jr., yeah. He hasn't looked the same, though, so that's where my reservations are with Liam Cohen. Even though the running game has looked different, I felt like Etienne has been a talented running back. Now it's kind of finally being shown out with Liam Cohen there, so I got to give him credit there. But there are other parts that don't look as good. Their defense has looked awesome. I think that's where they're 4-1, and Josh Hines-Hallen, you guys have paid attention to my podcast and made a big deal about him last year with my favorite players in the league, at least and all. I haven't heard much from him, at least and all too as well, but it seems like everyone else around him is stepping up big time, honestly, and I think that's how you want it, because if this defense can get better, then it's Josh Hines-Hallen making some plays. Now, let me see if he's made some stuff. Is he even playing? Yeah, let me just check that first, because I haven't heard his name at all this year, honestly. So, yeah, he's played. He's got no sacks. He got no sacks this year, or half a sack against the Texans at least. So he's been fairly quiet and all too as well, which is a good thing because I think the defense has played well and all too as well. So, but those are your 4-1 teams. I don't take them seriously. You look at the Texans who are 2-3. I look at them as the same as the Ravens and all too as well. I think their issue is though their O-line is healthy and it still stinks. So it may not get better, but I do think Christian Kirk has come back and all, and I don't think it's a coincidence that their offense has been able to score points against the Ravens and the Titans. So there's only so much there. They still lost against the Jaguars the week prior and all too as well. In the defensive game, both teams do have a good defense, so it does make things interesting. But I still believe in the Texans more than the Jaguars and the Colts moving forward. It's more of a gut thing. The Texans, like I said, the Texans have a bad O-line. Joe Mixon, their starting running back, doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon and all too as well. C.J. Stroud has kind of figured it out, but again, the competition hasn't been great, so it's hard to give them so much credit there. So I've just got my issues there. Even though my gut feeling likes them more than the Colts and the Jaguars, at least and all too as well. I just don't believe Liam Cohen was there for offense. I don't see what he's done offensively yet. At least when I'm doing that to Liam Cohen compared to Aaron Glenn, he's showing you something with the running game at least. So I give him confidence. Maybe he can figure it out. I just rather believe in the Texans, a team that has won the division over and over again, barely winning it too over the past couple seasons. But I just have more trust in them that they can figure it out in the back end of the season. I had my questions with the Colts in the back end of the season with Shane Steichen. I'm gonna stick to that until he proves me wrong, at least. No, Jaguars could be different because they're playing defense. If this is a thing that they're forcing takeaways all season, I'll take them more seriously, when we get to the halfway season, third quarter of the season, and all too as well. Maybe if they continue to play defense, I'll start taking them more seriously. But for now, I trust the Texans defense more to consistently stay where they're staying at least and just give C.J. Stroud his weapons to a degree with that bad O-line. It's a maybe. Maybe they can figure it out in the back end of the season. And also Titans, let's just say I was completely wrong about them. Yeah, I was wrong about the Colts too. I thought the Colts would be right there with the Dolphins and all. Wrong about them. The Colts have shown, even though that's something that I should have seen at least and all, the Colts have always started well over the past couple seasons, with or without Shane Steichen and all too as well. So yeah, Frank Reich, Carson Wentz had themselves a run until they blew it at the end of the season against the Jaguars and all. So that's what the Colts do. They look good, then they blow it at the end and all too as well, with or without Shane Steichen over the past 5 to 6 years and all too as well. So that's just my worry there. The Jaguars, can this defense just continue doing this? If they can continue doing this, should give Liam Cohen and the offense some time to really get going. Travis Hunter's flashed too, honestly. So again, they flashed a bit compared to Aaron Glenn going into a defense. First-time head coach can't flash. Liam Cohen at least has flashed, and the defense is showing out too as well. I think it's more product of what of the players and maybe the DC they got over there and all more than Liam Cohen, but still. There's enough there. They're doing their thing. They're doing their thing defensively. Where I give Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, even though Trevor Lawrence just hasn't shown you anything to give you this confidence. But based on them being 4-1, if I'm giving the chance of my Patriots, making a run and staying consistent, I got to give the same type of respect to the Jaguars at least, not too as well. That maybe this could be different because they're playing defense. They've never played defense. They've always had talent on defense, but they couldn't play it. For some reason this year, they're playing defense and all too as well. So if that can continue, that's the team I probably take more seriously going forward. I'm more impressed with the Colts right now, but if you're asking me who do I trust more going down in the season, I think it's the Jaguars out of those two teams at least. No, and I think it's more biased out of me because Shane Steichen just hasn't finished the season strong as a Colts head coach at least not too as well. So Titans are the Titans. I thought they'd be good. I was wrong about them. Maybe they can figure out in the second half of the season. It doesn't seem like it. Cam Ward is cool though. He's a cool, but you can't. It's no different from how Pat fans felt about Drake May last year. Your team is so bad. You can't tell if your quarterback is good under all that garbage and all. I think the Titans don't have the same garbage that the Pats had last year, which is kind of making I'm kind of confused on why they look so bad and all, especially defensively and all. But yeah, it's maybe a head coach that gets fired. Honestly, they just don't look good. They got lucky with their only win of the season with the Cardinals. I think I mentioned it with the Cardinals fumbling it up and all. They got lucky with that win and all. If they can figure out something to mount that win, maybe I'll like them again, but I just think it's really about Cam Ward and see how far he can develop and all too as well. But again, AFC, you see the two top teams in the AFC, I still don't believe in them and all too as well. Now we go to the AFC West, which is kind of different. I believe in the top two teams in the AFC West right now, in the Chargers and the Broncos. Problem with the Chargers, O-line health and all. They already came into this. I think it was Ronnie Staley, got hurt to start the season. Joe Wolt to left. He looked good. The Chargers started the season 3-0, right? Yeah, they started season 3-0. They've lost their last two against the Commanders and the Giants, unfortunately for them. But yeah, I like both in the Broncos too as well. I believe in their defense. Their defense is coming more along lately, honestly. I hit the camera a bit. But the defense has been coming along more lately. Not the great. The game against the Colts, I was kind of disappointed as their defense, but they were a play away of making an interception where, all of a sudden you feel better about their defense. But it is coming along. Kind of expected to look better. Like the Texans look good to start. The Browns, even though with their bad offense, look good to start as a defense at least. I'm trying to think of another defense that's been good to start. Before we get back into the Broncos, just trying to think of another defense that looks good to start. Packers were kind of there, but they fell off, especially against the Cowboys and all too as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, I think those are two defenses I truly trust right now. Right now with the Texans, the Jaguars too, I guess. Yeah, we'll put the Jaguars in there too as well. But the Broncos defense, I feel like it's coming along. Like I said, I just thought it would start earlier. Like the Jaguars and the Texans have started their defenses at least and all too as well. But two teams I believe in. Again, when I bring up the Ravens again, healthy, the Chargers are the same team. They look good this year. I wasn't high on them going into the season. I thought they'd be the bottom end of the AFC West and all. They look good. I can't deny when someone looks good on my television screen and all too as well. They look good. The O-line the injuries in their O-line is just what's costing them. They lost a close game against the Giants. You can argue, O-line here and there maybe busts a run or protects Justin Herbert a bit longer, honestly. So that's a fair argument there. And then, they were in a game against the Commanders, and then they just weren't able to do anything for the rest of that game. And again, I credit more of their injuries more than crediting the Commanders. And I'm not knocking the Commanders for that. It was a solid win for them. They won 27-10. Got a 7th-round draft pick at the running back position, making impactful plays, taking the LFG player of the game from Tom Brady on Fox and all too as well. So I won't take that away from them, but still, I feel like the Chargers' injuries in the O-line are really costing them, and I think the reason why they lost these two games. The Broncos, the reason why they have two losses is because both teams hit a field goal to win the game with no time left on the clock and all against the Colts, one of those games and all. And what was the other loss they had to? They had a loss. Who did they lose to? The Chargers. There we go. Yeah. Lost to the Chargers late and all too as well to a field goal and also. But the Broncos have looked good. And Bo Nix has looked all right as a quarterback and all too as well. We have a reemergence of J.K. Dobbins over there too as well at the running back position. Cortland Sutton, from what I've watched, has looked solid for them too as well, honestly. And their defense, like I said, is coming together and all too as well. And it can get better throughout the season and all too as well. So as much as I don't take the two teams in the top of the AFC seriously, I do take the Chargers and the Broncos seriously, that they can hold on to these spots, one of these two win the division, and they can go into the playoffs too as well, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me because the Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Chiefs are having their struggles, but they have too much precedence for me to give up on them until we get to the third quarter of the season. They still keep looking like this. That's a different story. I'll kick them out too. But for as right now, going 2-3, they do have a tough game against the Lions at home. Is it home or is it in Detroit? It's at home and all too as well. So they do have a tough game with the Lions coming up. I do expect the Lions to win that game, so maybe the Chiefs go 2-4 going forward. But the way the Chargers are looking, who are the Chargers facing? The Chargers are facing the Dolphins, so it should be a winnable game for the for the Chargers. We'll see, because their O-line is their O-line and all. If you can't win the trenches, it's hard to win a football game and all too as well. So it's a huge factor to why I think the Chargers have lost 2 straight games and all too as well. But I do believe in these two teams. I do believe that the Chiefs can figure it out too as well, honestly. So I'm not bowing them out and all. Rashid Rice will be back. Their defense has looked better. Had a bad loss against the Jaguars and all too as well. That's why they're 2-3. It should be 3-2 and all too as well. So we'll see. They have enough precedence where I'm just not going to knock them out and all. It's the same logic I have for them in the Super Bowl and all. Look how that looks. So maybe that's where they're trending towards. But for right now, I give them a chance to still win the division and all. But I do believe the Chargers and the Broncos, especially if the Chargers can get healthy O-line wise, they're not falling out. The Colts and the Jaguars wouldn't surprise me. They flail out a bit and the Texans take advantage. I don't expect that from the Chargers or the Broncos. I think they're pretty damn solid. Coaching-wise, they're solid too when you got Harbaugh and Payne there too as well for their respective teams and all too as well. I don't see them falling off and all. So it's really about, can the Chiefs win those games when they face them in the division and all. I think the Chargers have already beaten the Chiefs already. No, they haven't faced them yet. I thought they did. Yeah, they did. First game of the season, right? Yeah, they already beat them already in Sao Paulo, Brazil and all too as well. So back to the standings, my bad. But yeah, this is the best division in the AFC at least. Now, I'm not the AFC South, I'm not the AFC North, the AFC East. They're all whack. I'm not gonna lie. And injuries for the Ravens at least know why the AFC North is not theirs at least too as well. But AFC West I think is your best division and all. The Raiders are the Raiders, unfortunately. First dope game against the Patriots. I almost said Celtics against the Patriots and all too as well. But I don't know what happened to Geno Smith. Geno Smith didn't look like this over the past couple seasons when he started the season. Maybe in the back end of the season he lost it, but in the first end of the season he looked like an MVP. I don't know what he looks like and all too as well. I don't think it's appropriate what I'm about to say about Geno Smith and also. This kind of disappointing and all too as well. You kind of, with Pete Carroll there, kind of expected it. My buddy Vince, I had him on the show and all. I think his point's kind of ringing true. What's his name there? Chip Kelly is not NFL offensive coordinator. I think we've seen this before. We've seen this with Philly, when he was trying to run an offense and like I don't know how he was trying to run that offense, trying to run that thing like a track meet and all too as well. And then I don't know if he was the head coach with the 49ers, but I don't remember if he was in the head coach there, but I think he was the OC there. And all too as well, he was running the same thing there too as well. And that was trash before Jim Harbaugh came over there and changed things up in 2013, 14, 15, where they made the Super Bowl at least and all too as well. So. Yeah, unfortunately with the Raiders, they got cool talent. Brock Bowers, I think, is dealing with some injuries or some ailments, and also he hasn't looked the same. Ashton Genty, I think the offense is the reason why he doesn't look like he did in college and all too as well. Because I think he's had a flash or two where he's looked like Ashton Genty from Boise State at least and all too as well. But Geno Smith has been awful. The defense hasn't been good. They've been giving up points and all too. I think they gave up 40 points to the Bears not too long ago. Yeah, 40 points to the Colts. Okay, 40 to the Colts. They lost a close game to the Bears at least. I thought the Bears put some points on them, but the Commanders did. And I don't even think Jane Daniels played in that game. Yeah, Marcus Mariota played in that game too as well, honestly. So, where was I looking at the Raiders' schedule and all? And yeah, more points. Yeah, they were okay against the Chargers, and they were okay against the Pats at least, and all defensively at least. And even Geno too was okay, but it's gone down the hill. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta look at my buddy Vince honestly too as well. I give him credit for the whole Chip Kelly thing. Maybe he was the wrong choice for them to run their offense and all too as well. But there we go. I got my little quarter report card or whatever of the NFL season so far and all too as well. If I had to say what I was wrong about the Colts, the Chargers, and the Titans for sure, honestly too as well. NFC's kind of looking the way I expected it and all too as well. I thought the NFC East would be close. I thought it was a 2-3 team race in the NFC North and all too as well. I thought the Bucs were outright your winners in the NFC South. That's looking like it so far. Even though I had the Rams as a default, but I gave the West a chance and all. It's just a matter of injuries for the Niners and all, and they're battling through it and all. And the Seahawks were interesting. The Cardinals are interesting too. The Cardinals just do stupid shit, so that's why I can't believe in them. But the Seahawks, it just seems to be Sam Darnold turning over the ball late in the games is the reason why they're losing these games and all. So everything else seems cool with them. I give them a chance to still stay in it and all. The AFC been wrong about definitely, Colts, Jaguars. That the Colts and the Jaguars will both suck, and they don't suck. It's the Titans that suck, and I thought the Titans would be good. So definitely wrong there. I think the Chargers would be good only because I don't trust Justin Herbert. At least they have a solid team, and they're showing that too as well. Injuries are hurting them. I like the Broncos. Have a chance to be the best defense in the league at least and all, and they're kind of building up towards it. I think the Texans have looked like the best defense, maybe the Jaguars too, but I give that to the Jaguars or Texans at least and all. Kind of just feel the Broncos have just started a little slow, but their win against the Eagles could pick it up because they didn't allow anything to the Eagles in the fourth quarter and all too as well. So we will see. Got the quarter progress reports for the NFL season so far. You'll probably hear me talk about the NFL in the halfway point of the season, and maybe I'll start going week by week when we get closer into who's going to make the playoffs and all that type of stuff, at least and all too as well. But it's October 11th, ladies and gentlemen, of 2025. The NBA season, let me double check my calendar real quick. The NBA season begins in a week and a half. I was trying to set it up for like one more week at least now, but the 15th will make it the week and all. But one last full week before the NBA season starts though and all too. So I'm gonna have some predictions about the NBA season all too as well. And I'm thinking, let me not say it out loud yet. I don't want to make anything permanent yet, but definitely doing an episode and all too as well. The season starts on the 22nd, I believe. I gotta get my Celtics schedule on my Apple calendar and all too as well. But I believe it starts on the 20. I think the season starts on the 21st with the Rockets and Thunder and the Lakers and Warriors and all. Now no LeBron James for that game. The man's dealing with a sciatica, and I think that's a smart thing from a 41-year-old man. You shouldn't be playing 80 games in an NBA season. 40, 50, 60 maybe. Sure. But not 80, you know what I mean? I like this direction by the Lakers. I deal with sciatica from time to time. It's definitely playable, you know what I mean? I ain't LeBron James either, but I'm pretty sure LeBron James can handle a sciatica thing. But I think it's a smart move. Let the guy sit. He's 41 years old. LeBron James is effective no matter when you play him. The only issue is, can he stay healthy? Even in the playoffs against the T-Wolves too, he did his thing. Even the last stretches of the series, at least, no, but he can only do so much because of the groin injury. And you had him playing 65+ games, because I believe he made an All-NBA team and all last year too. So I think he would made the All-NBA team. But LeBron James shouldn't be playing 65 games anymore. I think it should be a minimum for him in the regular season, 45 games. I don't care. He's the exception. Some guys can't do it. I think LeBron James is your exception and all, but play 45 games and max him out in the playoffs and all. Especially as a as the Lakers, I would think the Laker fans and the Lakers expect to make the playoffs this year, either as a play-in or straight into the playoffs or as a play-in. But still, I'm a fan of resting the old guy. At least the Celtics did a great job with Al Horford, and look how his career is extending and all too as well. And they don't play him a lot. LeBron James, I get the all NBA stuff, I get the kickers for your contract and all too as well. But if I were you, F all that shit at this point. Just try to get yourself in the playoffs and worry about that one thing that everyone around you or people that have some negative things about him too as well. They only care about one more thing. Can you get another ring? Can you get number 5? Can you pass Steph Curry? You know what I mean? Like I think those are the only things people worry about. I think the all NBA stuff, all the records and stuff like that too as well. Honestly, I think the only record if I were LeBron James, I'd be worried about playing with 2 of your sons at the same time. I don't think any NBA player has ever done that before. That's the type of record I'm sure that he wants. I think playing 40 to 50 games a season, as long as he's averaging his 20-plus points, able to give you 6 to 8 assists a game and, rebound the ball 8 to 10 times a game and all, I don't see why you just can't do that for LeBron James. He is one of the few exceptions you can do that for. And he's kind of done it since like 2016, 2015 when he went back to the Cavaliers, honestly. So even though, you lose a little star-studdedness to the second game of the first day of the season for the NBA, I think it's a smart move for the Lakers moving forward, at least, and all too as well. He hurt his groin against the T-Wolves and all too as well, so it'd be huge. But yes, that's probably gonna be my next episode and all. Thanks to the Red Sox season being over, I won't have a weekly thing going for a while. It seems like, and all too as well. It seems like I'll be back on my weekly basis when the NFL season hits the second half, at least, we get more into the playoffs, and I'll start breaking things down week in, week out. It's just too early to really get high or low about anything in the NFL right now, too, as well. Like, you can get real low about the Ravens and Texans, and I think one of those two teams, if not both, are going to sit there and be in the playoffs by the end of the season, too, as well. So I don't want to get too high or low with that, too, as well. So probably my weekly episodes are going to take it easy until December or so, too, as well. I appreciate the break anyway. As you can see, I took a little long break before having this episode and all, too, as well. But do expect me to have an episode next about my season preview of the NBA season and all, too, as well. Where do I expect my Celtics to sit? Does OKC, double it up and go back-to-back and all, too, as well. So that feels like that's going to be next on the podcast and all, too, as well. But again, if you guys are listening or watching on the YouTube side, press like, leave us a comment, and press on that subscribe button to help support the podcast. And if you guys are listening on podcast platforms like Apple, Spotify, and even Overcast and all, please leave a rating, add us to your library for future or for past, present, and future episodes on the podcast. So I appreciate you guys listening. Signing off. We'll talk soon.